Chetty Bobby. Welcome to Wrasslin with Big E and the POT. Podcast tag champs of the whole world, slamming like a DDT. Got it like just like a figure four. Hulk Hogan, all they do is flex. Talking wrestling while they get the dough. Off the top like a superplex. Think they letting up? Hell no. Dusty Rose with the elbow. From the corner like a stinging splash straight to the face. I know you felt those. Hey, y'all crying out for help though. Rising up like the dead man. About to go upside your head like Stone Cold with the bedpan. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. See ya!
Hey, welcome to Wrestling with them Wrestling Boys. I'm the POT alongside my tag team partner, Big E, and we're here to bring you another episode of premium wrestling content. What's up, bro?
Brother, what's going on? Hey, man, it's Welcome to Wrestling, episode 26. Hey, today we're going to be talking about Night of Champions. We're going to go into that, do a little preview, do a couple of predictions, and it'll be kind of going to be a long one today. But before we get into it, man, Game 7 NBA Finals was tonight. Bro, you want to talk about it a little bit?
Absolutely, man. First of all, I have to congratulate the champs, the 2025 NBA champs, OKC Thunder. Congratulations to SGA for winning Finals MVP. Great series. I also want to congratulate the runner-up. I know if you're not first, you're last, but Indiana Pacers had a great season. Also, prayers go out to Tyrese Halliburton, who apparently he torn his Achilles early in Game 7, which definitely affected the game. But hey, that's part of it. That's part of it. You know, so take nothing away from OKC. Great series though. It was not the usual suspects. You know, not the LeBrons, the Stephs, and you know Jokic and whoever else. Two new teams in the finals. And they Game 7. You know, so shout out to both teams. I just want to touch on that. So congrats to OKC.
Yeah. When he went down, man, I know my son was he was pulling for Indiana, and
I
he
was too.
And he was like, "Oh, it's his calf because he's been having trouble with his calf, his right calf." I said, but the way he went down, you kind of knew you've seen that injury before if you're familiar with sports. And I was like, "Nah," I said, I think that was his Achilles right there." And he was like, "No, it's his calf."
The calf injury leads to that. That's normally what happens when they come back to soon.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, man. Prayers up to him. That's a big time. That's a big injury, and the recovery time is not. That's a lot of work to come back from that, man. So shout out to him and prayers to him, and yeah, man. But yeah, like you said, man. Shout out to the OKC Thunder for winning the finals and becoming the world champs. So, but on the bigger and better things, it's Welcome to Wrestling, and we're gonna be previewing the Night of Champions. It's 1 week from less than a week now. It's 6 days next Saturday. Now, we don't talk politics at all on this show, but there is, some worry with Iran and the Israel conflict that's going on. And but the stuff that I read, and this was just like maybe even 30 minutes ago, saying that production is still going on. The people that the employees from WWE that are already there, they haven't stopped getting production ready and getting everything ready. So the talent is supposed to fly out by a Wednesday. So if they're going to change something, they're going to have to do it soon. But, yeah, man, just pray for safety for everybody. And, we we don't necessarily know what them people going through over there. We haven't had no stuff like that really happen here, as far as just not since we've been alive or anything like that. So, you know,
Right.
that's a whole nother thing going on. But man, prayers to everybody that's involved, good or bad, man. People still losing family members, and no matter who you are or what's going on. So, but we'll move on from that. Hey man, Night of
Absolutely.
Champions, Night of Champions. Um, quick thing, back in the day, the Night of Champions was always all the titles were on the line, all of them, and that's just not what's happening this time. I don't know if it's going to be like that. So we've got another five. We've got another five match PLE.
That's
You
their
know,
formula now, buddy.
yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and talk about the two matches that are set but aren't set, and we'll find out tomorrow night exactly what the lineup will finally be. But you're gonna have Jade Cargill and Wrasslin Perez, and the winner of that match will face Oscar for the Queen's King in the Ring. So let's talk about the first match tomorrow night at Raw, and then we'll talk a little bit about meeting Oscar in Saudi Arabia. So we got Roxanne Perez, Jade Cargill, both young talents, both power ladies, if you want to call them that. Both of them strong, both of them do big, do the big power moves. Jade is something else, dog. She's put together. Super duper athlete. I know she's still learning, but it ain't like she just started a couple of weeks ago. She's been around for a little while now.
Right. Absolutely.
And they really pushing her. So, I don't know if they're ready to push her big time like that. But we're gonna find out tomorrow night. I don't know. I'm gonna say Jade wins. And I'm gonna say it's Jade and Oscar. But to me, if it's Jade and Oscar, that'd be like the Big Show and Rey Mysterio. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go ahead and pick Jade as far as who I think will make it to the finals, and it'll be Jade and Oscar. And I'm gonna stick with, no matter what, I'm gonna stick with Oscar being the Queen of the Ring.
I can see that.
Yeah,
As far as Jade and Roxanne Perez, uh, who knows this could be a residual effect from the Liv Morgan situation, because maybe part of Roxanne Perez winning the Queen in the Ring or something could be like added beef with Liv in that whole
yeah,
situation. But we don't know how that story. They may have to pivot with that situation, or
due to her
hell, they may
injury.
just go
Yeah,
ahead and just did what they did to Rhea, where they just put Liv in there. Maybe Roxanne gonna be Dom's girlfriend now.
yeah,
They may kind of rinse and repeat that situation, until Liv come back and then go full fledged into that. But as far as that match itself tomorrow, though, I agree with you. I'm gonna go with Jade. Now, as far as the push, I mean, I see why they trust Oscar. She's a former champion, been
yeah,
away for what they say like 13 months. That with the knee injury. Uh, and I guess the question is, who are they willing to have a title match with at SummerSlam?
yeah,
And I mean, would they go with Jay at this point? Uh,
yeah,
Oscar be a safe pick. Who knows?
yeah,
But I'm gonna go
yeah.
with Jay as far as winning tomorrow night. Now you going with Oscar to win Queen in the Ring?
Yes, yeah,
I'm you know what? Then just to be different, I'm gonna go with
yeah.
Jay.
Well, if you
So
think about it,
Jay
though,
wins tomorrow.
Jay goes to SummerSlam, wins the title, and then Naomi cashes in at SummerSlam, and that could start a whole crazy thing right there. That could really start there. Dang.
Yeah, because then that means she really wouldn't have a real title reign. It'd be almost
Right.
like when McIntyre beat
With McIntyre. But
Seth
McIntyre
WrestleMania
being the
40.
champ. But this would be her first championship. So her
I
first
know.
title reign. Like McIntyre's
Right.
multi-world champ. So this will be
Yeah,
way different.
he's the world champion before. Right.
Right. But she's never had a single title in WWE. So you imagine
Right.
winning your first championship and then it taken away immediately
Right there.
5 minutes later.
Yeah, that would be awful.
Yeah. So all right. Well, this one's gonna be a good one tomorrow night. And Jay Uso and Cody Rhodes.
Absolutely.
Between them two. And then whoever wins that one will face Randy Orton. So it's a lot of what ifs with this one.
Right.
If Cody wins tomorrow night, and then you got Cody and Randy, which is a huge match anyway, especially with the backstory, but you really don't get to promote the backstory with it only a week away, 6 days away. You know what I'm saying? So I would think if they had a match of that magnitude, they would, really be able to sell the backstory or whatever. But anyway, but if Cody does win, then he gets his rematch at SummerSlam.
Right.
You haven't seen Randy Orton ain't been in a title picture in a minute, really. He's been around it and sniffing it, here and there.
Well, I mean, he just lost to Cena. So
yeah, but I mean, he hasn't been
he hasn't been a champion. Right.
Yeah, in a long time. Don't know if he cares to be, or if they, if it's one of them things. And it's just one of the things you think like HBK. HBK wouldn't, at the end of his career, wasn't trying to get the belt and all that stuff all the time. And,
right.
He was just putting on the show with everybody. That's all he was, every night when they do the DX stuff or whatever WrestleMania match he had going on. So, because Randy Orton going to be a draw anyway without the title.
Absolutely.
So, but then again, you get Jey Uso. If he were to win, then you got him and Randy Orton. But what if Jey win? And now Jey Uso getting a shot at Cena for the undisputed title. You don't think
or
that
will
would
he go back to Gunther for part 3?
Ooh.
Which I mean, there's a lot of what ifs to your point.
Right.
Because winning the King and Queen of the Ring is like winning the Royal Rumble. You get to pick which title.
Yeah.
But I agree with you as far as Randy and Cena. I mean, not Randy, excuse me. Randy and Cody because of the backstory. And that, to me, I don't know if they would do that this early, right?
It's a WrestleMania match.
The what if. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
So, and you may be right. Plus, if Jey win, that'd be sort of an upset.
Yeah.
Not really, but really, because I think most people would probably think Cody would beat Jey. So what does that mean though? It's two faces. So
who
is it going to be
does
some type
somebody,
of swerve?
That's what I'm saying. Does something happen to where they cost Cody the match, or you know what I mean? So, I'll make a prediction just to make a prediction. But like I say, there's this right here with those 3 guys. No matter how you spin it, there's so many good and cool stories you can do with all 3 of them. Going, you know what I'm saying? You got Jey going back to Gunther. What if Jey go to Cena? You know what I'm saying? He just won the world title.
Which would make sense, right?
Yeah. Get the
that would
I just
make
had
sense
the world
as well.
title. Now I just want to get the undisputed title. And then of course if Cody were to get his rematch with Cena, you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I'm gonna say just like we talked about just now, I'm gonna say Jey Uso wins. I'm gonna say it's gonna be some, like you say, some kind of swerve because the Cody and Randy Orton, man, that's that should be, that's WrestleMania match. So, but
Right.
I'm gonna say I don't know, man. I don't know. Because like he just beat Cena just beat Orton. So you're not gonna put him right back there again,
Right.
you
Yeah, I don't
know.
think so either.
Right. So I don't know, man. I think Jey Uso might win and go over. That'd be crazy.
I
I don't know,
agree.
man.
I'm gonna
I
go
don't
with you
know.
on that one. I'm I'm gonna say Jey Uso some kind of way.
Yeah.
Plus,
And then
I
is
think
that like a severance package or not a severance package, but like a
for losing the title that
right.
fast,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
to
Like you
keep
get the
pushing
door.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, that makes sense. Um,
yeah.
this is turning into something right here
Okay.
with Solo and Jacob Fatu, Solo Sokoa for the United States Championship.
Absolutely.
So on SmackDown, they jumped on Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso came to his rescue, because they're first
Right.
cousins. Their dads are twin brothers. You know what I mean?
Which is
The time,
crazy in itself.
yeah, with the time Ken Rikishi are twin brothers, you
Right.
know. So I don't see Jake. I don't know, man. I think something's about to happen with this whole crew. And you're gonna see the Tongans come. I think you're gonna see Tongalo and Tomatonga come back. I don't think they're just gonna get rid of them that quick. And then you also got the younger brother, Hikaleo, or whatever, however you say his
The
name.
tall one.
Yeah,
The tall
the
one.
big, yeah. Now he
Yeah.
just debuted a couple of weeks ago in a dark match. So he's there,
Right. Right.
So I don't know when they're gonna pull the trigger. They've been talking about him for a whole year. So I don't know when they're gonna pull the trigger with him. But you got Jimmy Uso, he's doing something, but he's not really doing something as far as his story.
Right.
So they're gonna,
Right. He's kind of
he'll be hooked up.
like a floater right now.
Right, right. But I mean, he's not,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
he's a little above the mid card and floating around doing a little main event here and there. So you're gonna see him and Jacob. They're gonna form a little, come together, but it's gonna be like a 4-on-2, 3-on-2, and plus you got Mateo. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how they're gonna run it or how they're gonna split it up, but Solo's gonna have the number game. He always gonna have the number game as long as he's
Right.
here. So, but I'm
Right.
gonna pick Jacob Fatu. I don't know how it's gonna work out. It might be a disqualification type thing. They might just have an all-out brawl at the end of it and beat Jimmy and Jacob up real bad, but he keeps the title, and then they start feuding that way. But I'm gonna go with Jacob Fatu. I think it's gonna be a crazy match, because they're both kind of built the same. I mean, like I say, they're first cousins. It ain't like they've been wrestling all their lives with each other. You know what I mean? If you watch
Yeah.
the
They're like brothers. Yeah.
yeah,
Them two. They're like brothers.
yeah, and
They were the same
because they
era. So
right, and they all grew up in Pensacola together. Of course, Jacob was back and forth to California, but youngin, they was all, they was all tight. They even
right.
spoke about it at the Stephanie's place, how it was Roman was like, it was, me, the twins, and Jacob, you know. And but yeah, man, so that I love how they're doing the bloodline. It would be crazy if they put them all together one day. Now that would be wild.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you got
Like the
one
old
faction,
Samoan dynasty.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, you can imagine
Yeah.
them coming out there, and they already got swag and everything. They coming out there with the bandanas on, and everybody surround the ring on everybody's match and stuff like that. How they did in the Indies
Yeah.
with the Samoan, that stuff was cool, bro. So, but yeah, that would be something else. But I'm gonna stick with Jacob Fatu. I think this is gonna be the sleeper. and gonna be. I think it's gonna be. I think everybody thinks it's gonna be a good match. I don't think everybody's gonna think about how good it's really gonna be, and that's Dominic and AJ. I think that's gonna be I think they're gonna steal the show. As far as the excitement, they're gonna be cheering for AJ. They're gonna be cheering for Dom. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but I don't see AJ winning the IC title. I mean, I would love for him to have it. I'd love for him to have something instead of just, kind of being a mid Carter every week. But
Right.
You can't take away from Dominic. I mean, he's killing it right now. He's killing it every way. Everything he does, he's getting over. I mean, I don't have nothing bad to say about him or his work. He just keeps getting better. That suicide dive into the tornado DDT outside, bro, that's crazy. And he's a long dude. Like, he ain't no little dude, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I
you think?
mean, well, we both long life AJ fans anyway, so anytime I see him work,
Right.
it doesn't matter. He can be wrestling a damn dumpster, and I'd be all about it.
Right. Yeah.
But as far as Dominic, you're absolutely right. You had to give credit where credit is due. Just like we talked about the CM Punk or Drew McIntyre, the work they did last year with the Mike and their feud, and well, even Dominic, how he gets so much heat from the crowd. You haven't heard heat like that in so long. Not the type of heat he was getting. Can't even
No.
do his damn promo. But then you see the transformation, how it's like the crowd respects him, and he's like, he probably gets like the biggest pop every night now.
Right.
Besides the eating,
Right.
and he's, and they reward him for it. Like I said, he's IC champion, and even the whole Judgment Day, and you notice how things are playing out between him and Finn. That's why
Yeah.
this Liv Morgan situation really going to change things. They're going to have to pivot. They're going to have to pivot there because I really believe this Roxanne Perez thing was really going to get spicy. So now is Roxanne, you know what? That's what's going to happen. Roxanne going to help Dom get the
Win.
victory.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going with Dom as well
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
retain the
Yeah. I don't
championship. But
see them
I
taking
definitely
the
think it's
title off
going to
though.
be right.
Yeah.
But I definitely
But I can
see what you're saying
could
though.
definitely.
I think they're going to put a good match on.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see that happening. What you're talking about. Yeah. Look at you over there booking. All right, let's jump to the main event. CM Punk and Cena.
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you what. The reenactment of the pipe bomb on SmackDown.
Hmm.
That was, first of all, it was genius, is what it was. And we always say whoever gets beat down before the pay-per-view usually ends
End
up
up
winning.
winning.
Yeah, but they also got a whole nother week and two more other shows before it goes down. So Punk is not winning the title. If he wins the title soon, it's not going to be right now. Cena's heel stuff is just too good right now. It's too good. It's too good, bro. I think they might let him take it home. Could you imagine?
I don't know. I don't know. I
First
mean,
of all,
I definitely don't see him losing now.
right?
And plus, we're getting these nostalgic matches that we knew that he's working with all his peers.
Yeah,
Just what if it was Randy or our truth. Now you got CM Punk.
Right.
You know, and there's gonna be more to come. He may do
Does,
Roman one more time,
does our truth
which
interfere
that
tomorrow
could
night?
be. And you
I mean,
mentioned this. Could Roman be the one that's gonna take it from him?
yeah,
You mentioned that. If that happens, I have to give you credit for it.
because who it's almost like who can stop him at this point? Nobody, but
Right.
you got Roman over here. It just comes out the woodworks. I can stop him.
Right.
I'm a tribal chief. I'm not gonna let you ruin wrestling. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
then if you
Now,
remember, like they've had a mean feud before too.
right.
It's called a promo,
Well,
kid.
yeah, yeah. He helped him grow up.
Yeah,
And
he
they
did.
and yeah. But now I tell you, since he having this tour and he's working with all these different people, and what he got like what 6 months to go.
Yeah,
Now another opponent from the past would be Seth freaking Rollins, but right now that wouldn't make sense because they both heels. But that
right.
could be something that may come into play near
Yeah,
the end of his run if he turned face again, or who knows, or who knows, right? But I definitely
yeah,
don't see him and Seth doing anything anytime soon because they're both strong heels.
right. And Seth, he's got the money in the bank, so he's got, he's gonna cash in on somebody. And it's
Yeah.
gonna it'll be sooner than later. You don't have to wait too long. You know.
You know what? That's interesting too, because then you look at Gunther on the other side, which
Yeah.
they gave the belt back to him, and they want him to be a dominant champion. And again, think about it. There's two heel champions and a heel Money in the Bank winner.
Yeah. Wow. That's different.
I'm just
And
saying.
he's not going to, and he's gonna have it after Saturday night's main event. Gunther will still be the champion after that night.
Right.
You know.
Now I tell you something else that would make sense, which it kind of contradict what we were saying about Cena. But
Uh,
what if Punk wins and then Seth cash in on Punk?
ooh.
Cena wouldn't be champion no more though. But
Oh my God. No. And then it's like, what's the point of ending then the last time is now really don't really mean anything. Because now everybody's happy you lost the title because you were bad or whatever and a heel or whatever.
right, which
Yeah,
which to your point, probably why they wouldn't pull that trigger. But
but can
that
you
it
imagine as
could go
far
that direction though.
but the storyline that you already got with Seth and CM Punk, that would be the ultimate screw job
I
for
know.
Seth Rollins to CM Punk. And
That's why I mentioned it.
that would be something else.
But
Wow.
we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we both agree here though, right? We're going.
with Cena, yeah.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah, I will go with Cena. And I'll go no, I ain't doing it. They're not gonna do that. Not right now. You got too much time left.
Mhm.
You got a couple more people, but you do have Ron Cena somewhere lurking around that just wants to beat up John Cena. So something can happen with that. You know, who
Well,
knows?
here's another scenario, right?
Yeah.
Would have Ron cost Cena the title, right? For Punk to win and Seth come cash in.
Oh my.
I mean,
And then
so
Ron
you just
Kelly,
added Ron to the equation.
and then Ron adds it, and then Ron gets added to the Seth family or whatever their names are.
Ooh. He'll be a Paul Heyman guy.
Right.
Can you imagine that?
I will throw you over that rope, Paul Heyman. That's gonna be something else. It's like I say, this is one of those things where it's 100 things they could do and everything would work.
Absolutely.
You know? But that's why they get paid, the big bucks to make those decisions. So we'll see what happens. So we got we'll be back next week and we'll do the review of Night of Champions and we'll have all our answers. We'll have a few answers Monday, few answers Sunday. Sunday. It ain't a WCW pay-per-view. We'll have some answers Friday, and then we'll get all the answers Saturday. And then we'll be back next week with the review of Night of Champions from Saudi Arabia. Hey, man. Yeah. So this has been episode 26, man. Welcome to Wrasslin. And just like that, we're out of here.
Welcome to Wrasslin, Chetty Bobby. Welcome to Wrasslin with Big E and the POT. Podcast tag champs of the whole world. Slamming like a DDT. Got it like just like a figure four. Hulk Hogan, all they do is flex. Talking wrestling while they get the dough. Off the top like a superplex. Think they letting up? Hell no. Dusty Rose with the elbow. From the corner like a stinging splash. Straight to the face. I know you felt those. Hey, y'all crying out for help though. Rising up like the dead man. About to go upside your head like Stone Cold with the bedpan. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Yeah.